What if I told you we could build $1 million business and we can do it in 12 months? Would you believe me? This is exactly what we're doing. Let me make sure I get NC on here. There we go. Here we go. It's popping up. There we go. What if I told you you can build $1 million business and you can do it in 12 months? Would you believe me? That's exactly what we're doing. Like each and every day, we're going behind the scenes to show you exactly how we're getting this done. Now, as you know, in order to build $1 million business, there's a foundation that needs to be set, and then there's the mental mindset that needs to be had if we're going to achieve the $1 million. So, as always, thank you guys for joining. Today, we're going to be streaming across LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and then what else? We're gonna I said Facebook already. So the family's here. You guys always showing me love. Thank y'all for joining. TikTok family, I see you already popping in. I'm loving the energy. Instagram is showing up. LinkedIn has always been showing up for me as well. So it's dope that you guys always continue to support me. Listen, man, today we're on episode 19 already. Let's get it. Episode 19. So what does that mean? There's 18 other episodes that you may not have seen before, right? So if your first time joining, I invite you to go to the link that I have in the bio. Click on my newsletter, sign up for the newsletter. You definitely want to sign up for the newsletter, right? That's going to be so important. But the other thing is you can go to my YouTube page, which I created a playlist called Building $1 Million Business, or you can go to my LinkedIn page. And on my LinkedIn page, underneath my events tab, you can watch the previous 18 as well. Now I'm gonna urge you, whenever you get a chance, watch those as soon as possible, only because we know social media is always changing and they're running out of space. So what does that mean? They generally start deleting lives and they start deleting these playlists and whatnot. So we want to make sure we watch those before they disappear. So if you haven't, go to the YouTube page or my LinkedIn page, you will see that. What are we doing? Why are we here? Well, this year we're building $1 million business and we're doing it from scratch. $0, and we're taking it to $1 million, and we're doing it in 12 months. So what is today? Today's February the 5th. We're like 30 plus days into the year. We kicked this baby off January the 11th. So we're probably right at 25 days into this. And right now the love has been great. People have been tapping in. And most importantly, that newsletter has been growing like crazy. So we're up to, between LinkedIn and the offline version, we're right about 5,900 or so. And that's been continuing to grow from there. So if you haven't joined the newsletter, do that ASAP. This is going to be a good opportunity for you to continue to get some of this insight that I'm sharing with my subscribers in the newsletter. So we got two goals this year. One, to grow $1 million company. The second is to build a newsletter subscriber list to 50,000. Why are we building this to $1 million? One, I want to show you proof that it's possible with the right strategy, with the right tools, with the right systems, that you can grow your own $1 million business as well. The 50,000 subscribers, that's for me, because what am I building? I'm building an ecosystem of support, but always where I can give something back as well. So once you have your ecosystem, no matter what happens to these algorithms from these social media channels, you can still continue to grow a business. So it's so important as a business owner, right? If you're going to grow your $1 million business, that you have a great contact list of people that's really to support you and interested in purchasing your products as well. So what are we talking about today? Listen, today we're talking about breaking those limiting beliefs. We know as a business owner, sometimes we get in our head, and then those beliefs often prevent us from moving forward or in the direction that we want to go or accomplishing the things that we want to accomplish, right? So this is what we're getting ready to talk about really, really quick. I want to make sure that I'm welcoming everybody. Thank you. Welcome for joining. We're at episode 19. Today, we're talking about breaking those limiting beliefs that prevent us from making $1 million. All right. What I would encourage you to do, if you haven't already, drop your first name, what platform you're streaming from. It's going to be so helpful for me, because once we get to that portion where we start investing money and I start showing you how much money we're investing and where we're investing it, it's going to be helpful to find out what channel is going to deliver the greatest impact in the ROI, which is a return on investment. All right. So once again, thank you guys for joining. I'm Patrick Hart, Army veteran, former healthcare technology executive, sold a technology company at the end of 2018. At 2023, I became a full-time entrepreneur. Since then, I've been on this mission of impact and then also about growth for myself as well. And what are we doing this year? I'm teaching you, taking you behind the scenes to show you how we're building this $1 million business. Now, listen, the chat boxes are open. So as you drop chats, They're coming in. I can see these across my screen. I try to work through these throughout the presentation as well. So that's me. You got some insight. Let's get right into this, baby. Happy Thursday. Let's get it going. Let's get it going. So there's let's make let's do this. Let's make your beliefs tangible. Okay. What I mean by that, beliefs aren't motivational, they're operational. And a lot of people don't understand that. Beliefs are not motivational, they're operational. Let me explain really quick. Stick with me. Every action that you avoid is defended by your belief. Think about this. Every action that you avoid is defended by your belief. You don't procrastinate randomly, you procrastinate predictably. Like, you know when you're going to procrastinate. We've all been there before. We know we got that big project to do the very next day, and or we, the instructor gave the project a month out. We wait until like 2 days before to begin. Like, you knew you was going to do that because that's who you was. It also happens, and it also shows up as business owners when they're building their business, right? So they start procrastinating. It's not random. It's predictably. I already know you're going to procrastinate. Here's another thing I want to drop on you, explain to you. Fear is usually a story that you've rehearsed so often that it feels factual. Like, we've been telling ourselves, we're not going to be able to do this. We're not going to be able to do that. We're not going to be able to do this, that, or the other, right? And you start believing that shit, right? You believe it so much, guess what? You fail because you're so fearful, or you don't even start it in the very beginning. Here's the other thing too. Two people with the same skills, right? Completely different lives that live completely different lives. And two people with the same skills live completely different lives because of their interpretation. So let's say you had a twin brother, y'all have the same skills. You probably are not on equal ground because y'all thinking differently. Yeah, y'all may be, I'm saying, y'all share DNA, but you have different skill sets, right? Or you're going to have a different belief system as well. This is the same thing that happened with entrepreneurs out there. Somebody can hand you the playbook and say, here's the playbook. All you got to do is run the play. And your doubt, your fear, whatever, your ecosystem is going to prevent you from accomplishing that. We want to get out of that. That's what we're trying to do. We're building $1 million business. And in order to get there, we need to get past our own beliefs, right? So here's an idea that I want to run past you. I want you to get behind this really, really quick, okay? Let me say this. The chat box is open. I know I said that already, right? Drop your first name, where you're streaming. That'd be dope. I appreciate that. And if you haven't signed up for that newsletter yet, there's a couple of links. One's going to be scrolled across the bottom. There's a QR code top right-hand corner. You can scan that, join the newsletter today. We're growing that baby to 50,000. Right now, we're a little bit less than, I think, 6,000. We're a little bit less than that. So we got all year to grow that baby out, but the momentum has been there, and so it's been great. So here's an idea that I want you to get behind really, really quick. Your life is not shaped by your potential. It's shaped by what you think you're allowed to attempt. I want to share that with a lot of people because a lot of people think, man, well, I don't have this skill. I don't have that skill, blah, blah. Guess what are you doing? That self-doubt is creeping in. You're already preventing yourself from growing, right? Your self-doubt, so your life is not shaped by your potential. It's shaped by what you think you're allowed to attempt. And a lot of people, they don't attempt going for greatness because they're afraid of success. Yes, I said that. They're afraid of success because you're thinking, man, if I become successful, I got to do this, I got to do that. Or I got to put myself out there, or I got to create offers, or I got to sell, blah, blah, blah. You create all these excuses for yourself. So we're not growing your $1 million business. So check this. We're not fixing behavior today. That's not what today is about. We're identifying those silent rules that you've been living underneath. Okay. We're going to run through this really quick. Time check. Good. I got 20 minutes and I'm going to hit you with some goodness. All right. Remember, the chat box is open. You're welcome to drop any comments throughout this, and I try to work through these as well. So there's this belief that you're not enough. You've experienced that before? I know I have. Don't let me be the only one. So there's this belief that you're not enough, right? Let's recognize exactly what that pattern is, right? These beliefs, what do? They create over-consuming content instead of creating your own. You've been there before? Man, you're just scrolling, and you're a small business owner. You're a little entrepreneur. You're trying to get it in, but here you are. You just scrolling off everybody else's content, but you're not creating any for your business. Come on now. Or you're writing posts but you never publish them, right? So that's, oh, I'm fearful that I'm going to be judged in that situation. Or you're rewriting the same offer 20 different times. You're thinking it's going to change on the 20th time. The only thing you're doing is procrastinating because you're scared of putting your offer out there. What might happen if you put yourself out there? The other thing too is you're waiting more for credentials before you even start your outreach. Come on, man. That's been you before. You're waiting for somebody to like tap you on the shoulder and say it's okay before we get going. We can't do that. So these beliefs are preventing us from actually moving forward. And here's a hidden truth that I want to share with you really, really quick. Okay. People don't wait because they lack skill. Recognize this, okay? They wait because exposure feels like judgment. Man, I feel like I'm going to church today. I feel like, oh, pastor, I feel like a pastor today. They don't wait because exposure feel like judgment. So so you know what people do? They stay preparing to avoid emotional risk. If I just keep preparing, if I keep preparing, then I don't have to deal with the emotion that comes with putting myself out there. Hey, listen, we're growing $1 million business this year. We got to get past all of that. And what I'm trying to do is drop some game, help you get mentally set, build a foundation so we can position ourselves to grow our $1 million this year. Let me also add this really quick. Competence is built publicly, not privately. No one becomes confident when they're visible. I mean, excuse me. Yeah, no one becomes confident the invisible. Okay. What happens is they become visible, then the confidence comes. People ask me all the time, and I talk to people behind the scenes all the time. Well, Patrick, I'm fearful of this, that, or the other, right? How do you get past fear? You know what helps you get past fear? Action. That's the only thing that I know that cures fear. You actually have to act, and then fear begins to go to the wayside. So it sticks to what I'm saying. You become visible first, being in action, and then your confidence increases. So that's how we got to do it. If we want to tackle fear, you just got to get going and doing whatever that thing that scares the shit out of you. Let's do that thing. I want to reframe credibility really quick, okay? Credibility is not a title. Credibility is consistency witnessed over time. So what does authority equal? Like we're trying to be authorities in our space. Authority equals familiarity plus usefulness. So if you're building your $1 million business, we want to influence, but we need to have authority, right? And a lot of people are using social media wrong because we're building your business and you're trying to use social media to build your business. But you need to be familiar and useful at the same time, meaning you're providing some type of value that meets the needs of the people that frequent your content. So I want you to try this exercise really quick. Next time you think, who am I to say this? Replace it with who needs to hear this today. Okay, we're reframing because what that does is switches focus from ego protection to service. And if you didn't hear that again, hear that the first time, I'm gonna say it again. The next time you start to question, well, who am I to say this? Like, who am I? Like, are they gonna listen to me? I want you to replace that with who needs to hear this today. And once you do that, that switches from ego protection to service. And then that allows you to get going so we can sell in our business. All right. So there's also this belief that you need permission. A lot of people are waiting for permission, man. We're waiting for permission to get promoted. We're waiting for permission to go to school and get our bachelor's degree. We're waiting for permission to go get our master's degree. We're waiting for permission to start that course that we know is going to help our lives. We're waiting for permission to start that business. Like we're constantly waiting for permission. You know why this is? Have you ever heard of the identity dependence? Anybody ever heard of identity dependence? Okay, let me explain it really quick. Identity dependence, this is because school has trained us, right? We go to school. We all go to school. Most of us, we went to school, right? We're in the United States or other countries, but they still go to school. School has trained us for people to wait for evaluation. So you're in school, you're waiting to get marks, your grades, your report cards based off of the work you've done, right? That's what school has done for you. Now, if we go to work, jobs, they've trained us to wait for a promotion. So you go to work, you put in your hours, you put in your weeks, you put in your months, you're putting in your years, and then you're waiting for that promotion, right? So the job has trained you to wait for a promotion. But entrepreneurship, it feels illegally, psychologically, because you're breaking the pattern. We're no longer waiting for evaluation. We're not waiting for promotion. We're building $1 million business. So what that feels is psychologically indifferent. It feels illegal to be doing something that feels against the grain, right? People, they're not afraid of failing. They're afraid of appointing themselves. So let me sprinkle in some clarity really quick. And remember, the chat boxes are open. Guys, y'all know I like to talk. Man, there's a lot to get through in 30 minutes. I want to make sure I hit all the high points. Really quick, before we get to the next thing, sign up for the newsletter and then invite other people to these lives. I do these every single day, Monday through Friday. right at noon Central Standard Time. They're only 30-minute segments. And then there's another 18 that have already been done. You can catch those in the links that I have in the bios. You can go to my YouTube page. I got a playlist called Building a $1 Million Business. And then also you can go to my LinkedIn page underneath my events tab. I have all of these there underneath the events tab, and you can watch these. They're great 30-minute segments. I call them a good Netflix and chill. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, it's somebody you want to watch. There's tons of insight in there as well. So let me sprinkle in some clarity really quick for you folks, right? Thank you, Insta family. I see you. Thank you, TikTok. You guys keep showing up. LinkedIn is always growing behind the scenes, and YouTube continues to show up. So thank you guys. So let me sprinkle some clarity really quick. The moment you decide publicly, your brain upgrades your behavior to match your identity. So when you decide publicly, this is what you're going to do. Guess what happens? Your brain locks in and says, you know what? I'm going to match this flow. I'm going to match this energy so we can go after it. That's why each one of these episodes, I'm giving you some energy. Like, I'm giving you some love. I'm going to give you that added motivation you need to build your $1 million business. In fact, sign up for the newsletter. I help you build your $1 million business as well. All right. Identity creates discipline faster than motivation. I want to share that. Here's some signs that you're waiting for permission. So all the folks that have been waiting for permission, you may or may not get called out in this segment, right? But I want you to ask yourself, question yourself, is this me? And then how do I overcome or move past that behavior, right? So here's some signs that are people that are waiting for permission. You ask opinions instead of making decisions. How many people you know like that? They don't make any decisions, but they're asking, well, what would you think if I did this? Well, what do you think if I did that? You think it'd be a good idea if I did something like this? Like, you're still asking for opinions instead of just moving it, right? May or may not be you. Here's another thing that you're waiting for permission. You research endlessly, right? And so a lot of people think, well, I'm just trying to be smart. I'm just trying to make sure I'm ready before I start anything. It's so important to have valuable information. So you start telling yourself, you start telling other people that. That's procrastination and fear for showing itself. That's all it is. You delay announcing what you're building. Like, you don't want to tell anybody what you're building, because guess what? If I tell somebody, they may laugh at me. If I tell somebody, they may poke holes at what I'm doing. If I tell somebody, they may prevent me from actually starting, right? Sometimes you got to verbalize what you're doing so you can start moving. Remember, we're trying to overcome fear. We're building $1 million company. To overcome fear, it takes action. Action overcomes fear any particular day. Here's the other thing too, identify here. You soften your expertise language. You already know you're an expert at workforce management. You're an expert at revenue management or revenue cycle management. You're an expert at leadership. You're an expert speaker. You're an expert coach. You're an expert blah, 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 right? You're an expert at it. But instead of leaning into you being an expert, you soften what you do. Oh, well, your friends introduce you. Oh, well, Patrick does this. He's a business owner, entrepreneur, speaker, blah, blah, blah. And then I come in, well, I just do a little something on the side. I just do a little something. Come on now. I'm not owning exactly what I'm doing. So if that's you as your small business owner, entrepreneur, we're not going to get to our $1 million this year if we're thinking like that. Embrace who you are. So who am I? Man, I'm the guy that's going to get it done. We're going to build $1 million. I'm the guy that's turning thousandaires into millionaires, right? So that's what I do. And I build systems to help you get there as well. So here's a power idea. Okay. I want to share this with you. You don't become ready. All right. You don't become ready. You become responsible. And then responsibility, responsibility forces growth faster than readiness ever will. So once you get responsible for the outcomes, your actions, whatever, guess what? Growth starts to follow that as well. So that's what we're trying to do is here. And then there's this belief that money is scarce. Man, I talk to too many people behind the scenes. Well, such and such is doing my niche. Such and such is doing that. And, there's only so much money to go around. That's that scarcity mindset messing with you, thinking that, oh, you can't compete or you can't get in a space because like money's running out all of a sudden. Nah, that's not the case. Did you know this? This is not a philosophy, but so much more behavioral economics, right? A lot of people think this is philosophical, that this is what's happening. Well, really what that is, this is behavioral economics. So this is how scarcity thinking shows up. Identify this. Let me know if this is you. You don't have to. If you want to, you can let me know if this is you as well. So you're over delivering to compensate for the price. Y'all know somebody like that? You feel like, man, I need to provide more and more and more and more value in order to justify this price that I put on my web page or my landing page or whatever for my business. I need to provide more and more and more. That's that scarcity thinking. You're thinking that you're not enough. You're thinking that your offer's not enough. So that's scarcity thinking. Here's another one too. You avoid clear pricing. Listen, be clear with what you offer. Here's the value add. This is how much it costs. And then the other thing too, y'all, I'm sure y'all know people like this because I do. They apologize while they're selling. Oh, the offer that I have today is $1,500. I'm sorry that it's, that's amount, but we just feel like that's what it should be. What are you apologizing for? It's your offer, it's your business. We're building $1 million business. So these are some of the things we got to get past. The other thing too is a lot of people, they're selling these low-end offers, but they're expecting to build this $1 million company. You know what you also generate, or you know what you also attract? You attract high maintenance clients. If your offers are always low, guess what? You're going to get some of those low end bottom feeder clients that are always pushing back on your little cheap price and want more value. And they're only doing that because you allowed it. It's only doing that because you price it. And they're only doing that because you don't even believe in your products or your pricing. We got to get past that, right? So here's the real mechanism right here that I want to share with you. Thank you, TikTok family. I see you. I appreciate the love. Thank you, Insta family. I appreciate you. I'm not logging off. I'm just thanking people for continuing to join. So thank you guys for continuing to join. My LinkedIn family is always there. So here's the real mechanism, okay, I want to share with you. Price communicates your positioning before you speak. Cheap signals equals uncertainty. Clear pricing signals confidence. People, they don't only buy outcomes, they buy reassurance that they chose correctly, right? This is what they're buying, right? And then higher price, it often reduces decision anxiety. It's so weird. Some of the higher price things, people are not pushing back on you on the higher price. You normally get pushback when you got low value things that are priced really, really low. And that's where people just feel like it's not enough. How many people shop at Walmart, right? Raise your hand, you shop at Walmart. I shop at Walmart too. Walmart is the big brand store that we feel like is affordable for everybody, right? But a lot of people still go to Walmart and be like, man, these prices are freaking too high. Well, there's some other competitors. You got Target and you got all some of these other stores as well that are like higher price. And people still frequent those stores just as much, if not more. And they're willing to spend more dollars because they presume in their mind that is more valuable. You see why people shop at Sprouts or Central Market or all these other high-end, grocery stores, because for them, the value is there for them, right? So get out of your head. There's a place and there's a market for everybody. You don't have to play small in order to generate your $1 million as well. So let me give you a mental reframe real quick. Time check. I got 7 minutes. Okay, let me do a mental reframe. Money is not taken from people, right? It's an exchange for soft frustration. So when you're selling something, get out of their head. I'm selling somebody something. What people is doing is they're exchanging money for the frustration that you're actually solving. That's how you need to think of that. If frustration is expensive enough, guess what? Price becomes logical. If whoever your end client is, if they're so freaking frustrated with the outcomes they've been generating, whatever price you hit them with, if you're going to solve that particular problem, your price for your product, solutions, or service, it becomes more priceless, okay? So I want you to think about that. Reframe how you think about growing your $1 million business. Undercharging is not generosity. A lot of people think this. If it's fear disguised as kindness. Too many people that I'm working with behind the scenes, man, they're undercharging. They're thinking, oh, I'm just being generous. You just give them a little extra. Man, what? We're growing a business. We're building $1 million company here. We got to get past that. So the belief that it's too late. Oh, I talked to so many people, right? They're in their late 30s, they're in their early 40s, they're in their 50s. Well, it's too late for me, or I don't want to get started yet because I'm getting older, or I don't have so much time, or so many people are already operating in that space. They give you all these freaking excuses for that, why they're doing that, and the other. Did you know that many people, they use comparison to disguise it as timing? Like you start comparing yourself to everybody and it prevents you from moving forward, which means you're losing time. Comparison is a killer. There's so many dope people doing dope things out there, right? That's farther doing greater things than I am. I don't really care. I applaud them. Kudos, congratulations. What we're doing is we're playing our own playbook, right? We're building our own table. Let me explain this. People don't think it's too late. You know what? They think that they can't catch up. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. They don't think it's too late. They just think if I start it now, I can't catch up. So, and then the other thing, and then they start to quit before starting to avoid being publicly embarrassed. When they think it's too late, then they quit before they get started because they think they're going to be publicly embarrassed. Here's a reality shift, okay? Being early is overrated. Being consistent is undefeated. Most people who start, they never stay. And most people who stay eventually win attention. And that's what it's about. We're building visibility and attention for your business. We're also building that right mindset and the systems to help you get to $1 million as well. Strategic advantage. So I want to hear, right now, social media is changing. Y'all probably seen it. It's changing so much right now. So people that are entering the market late, guess what? There's proven demand. There's clear positioning. If you're entering later in life into the market, you're trying to become an entrepreneur, this is the best time to do it because the demand has been proven. You watch other people do it. You have clear positioning because you've been watching other people make their moves. You've seen the mistakes already, right? So they've already been mapped out by somebody else. Here's the thing about social media that's happening right now. Right now, you can become a small business owner, a creator, content, whatever you want to do on social media, and you will have the same starting point as me or anybody else that have thousands or millions of followers. You know why that is? Because content is not reaching the same. I can have thousands of people in my network and put out a piece of content, and then 95% of those people and my thousands of network followers, they never see that content. Because content is distributed by an algorithm. So you can be somebody that has 500 followers, you can have 200 followers, and you can go viral in your business only because you put something out there. So the starting point is there. Like it's advantageous for a small business owner, entrepreneur to start now. So let's get this thing going. Here's the psychological truth really quick. The pain of starting, it lasts longer than the months. The other thing too, the regret of never starting, it lasts decades. You don't want to be that person that being like, why didn't I start my business a long time ago? You know what I'm saying? You're freaking 60, 70 years old and talking to your grandkids. Man, if back in my day, if I would have started, I would have did this, that, or this, but you didn't, right? Let's do it now. So time check. I got a couple of minutes. All right, I want to make sure we're good. So if anyone needs to negotiate a call, flash negotiate. Okay, appreciate you, family. DeMario tapping in. All right, so here's some beliefs, reset routines that I want to hit you with, and then we're gonna close this baby up. One, I want you to notice the avoidance that's happening in your life. Name the belief that's actually causing it for you, and then take a small public action immediately. So when that fear creeps in, we want to tackle that head on because action interrupts narrative faster than thinking does. You see something that feels off, let's act on it, right? You get scared of doing something, do it right then and there because that's what's going to help you propel you to keep you forward. And here's a daily habit suggestion that I have for you. Keep a proof list if you don't already have one. This is proof of things that you've done, whether it's through the week, the month, the quarter, or the year. Write one thing daily that contradicts your old beliefs, right? We all have these beliefs, but I want you to write something that contradicts that because this is going to give you that positive momentum you need because your brain, it updates identity through evidence, not affirmations. So this is more about the psychological approach today, right? We're building $1 million business, but sometimes that's preventing us from getting there is our own mindset. So your brain updates identity through evidence, not affirmation. So I'm gonna close out with this, okay, family? You don't eliminate limiting beliefs. That's not what happens. You outnumber them with proof. We can't eliminate beliefs. We just outnumber them with proof. Listen, guys, as always, I enjoyed this, man. I always enjoyed this. This was episode 19. Today we talked about, what did we talk about today, man? We talked about everything and some. So today we talked about breaking through the limiting beliefs. These are all the things that have been preventing us from making our $1 million. Guess what? We're going to hit $1 million this year. Also need your support. So if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, do that ASAP right now. Sign up for the newsletter. We're growing it to 50,000, and then we're growing it to $1 million in revenue this year. And it's going to be impossible. It's going to be possible with your support as well. Right now, we're a little bit less than 6,000 across both LinkedIn as well as the offline version. And then we're going to continue to get that baby up. As always, I'm Patrick Hart, known as That Healthcare Guy. Connect with your boy. Follow me. And more importantly, go back and watch the other 18 because they're going to be right there in the links. Until next time, family, thank you for joining. See you tomorrow. Let's keep hustling. Let's get it.